each and every one of us, there's an influencer. It's just not about being an influencer with thousands of followers or anything like that. No, wherever you are at, as one person, you can make a difference.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Divya Parekh. Previously, episode 1751 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 1 month, 13 days, 12 hours, 45 minutes since we had that last recorded conversation. Fortunately for me, I got to meet Divya face to face just 8 months after we had this first conversation in North Carolina. Divya, how are you doing today?
Oh, it is wonderful to connect with you. Yes, I was definitely fortunate to have connected with you in person and now doing this conversation again with you. So how could I not be but energized?
I appreciate that tremendously. I feel the exact same way. So how have things evolved for you? What's new? What's the update?
Oh gosh, there are so many updates, Angel. I don't know where to start. So since we met, one of the teams that I mentor for robotics, we did not have much money, but they just kind of kept on plugging and chugging along. And they got an award for emotional intelligence and leadership. Think about it. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. These are young kids and who got award for leadership. And I was sitting in the stands watching them run down because what had happened was, their robot was not the best in design or in winning, and they were not expecting any awards. And when they heard the award being announced, I'm telling you, that just reverberated through my soul. And being their mentors, I could have run down with them, but I was just sitting in the stands, enjoying the moment. And that made me realize that, anybody can be an influencer. Anybody can unleash their potential. And when the potential is unleashed, and especially when we come together, that collective power has got such a force. And just to kind of see them run down and being cheered by the whole stadium, it just reinforced why I had written the book. So one of my most recent books is Expert to Influencer, How to Position Yourself for Meaningful Impact. And actually their story is the first story that starts out in the book. And I just wanted to share that. I would love for each and every one who may be listening to our podcast and whoever you may touch, Angel, is to unleash their potential and become an influencer.
You've had an amazing journey where your experience with writing helped you internalize and enriched you. When you look back from now to then, was it worth it? That time that you spent logging away on the computer keyboard, the time you spent researching, has it been worth it?
Oh, yes. Every one of them. So probably I think the one that I wrote recently was my 14th or 15th book. And I've kind of lost count of it because every book is a message that springs out in my heart and that is arrived at, just not by my experience, but my experience as I coach thousands of people across 90 countries. And, as I come in contact with different people and as I'm seeing the experiences evolve, I feel it's not only like logging away the computer. I feel that as an author, as an entrepreneur, it is my responsibility to share that message, because think about it. When it touches somebody else's life, because if I have done it, I'm your next door neighbor, then you can do it as well. And oh gosh, the messages I get from readers, how the lives are impacted, and folks, it does not matter whether it's one or thousands, because know that one has the power of many. And just, oh my goodness, yes. Long story short, yes, the journey has been very rewarding and very fulfilling.
It is powerful. When we first spoke, your mission in speaking was to cultivate power partnerships. And then when we met the second time, you spoke about growing a community of interdependent individuals. And it feels as though you set these missions that connect with the core of who you are, and you go out and you help others achieve the goal. Now, what's the spiritual side of that supports the foundation of the physical side of Divya?
Well, the spiritual side is helping others. And well, there are two sides. I could say that I call it selfish wisdom, Angel, because if you go and take a look at our brains, and this is coming from Richard Davidson, from one of the leading neuroscientists in the world, that we have got 4 independent circuits in our brain. And one of the circuits is designed for generosity, helping others. And how cool is that, that, when you're helping others, actually you're helping yourself. And to me, that is one physical side that I wanted to share, is that when we talk about altruism, there is selfishness in that. In that is that, you are, when you help others, you're helping yourself. And when you look at spiritual side, think about it. So many times you see people just kind of living through life. They may be making 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, and yet they're out there doing adventurous sports, doing extreme sports, or doing so many things that may be risk taking and just kind of getting into different things. And why is that? Why do we go on vacations? Why do we go to restaurants? And why are we seeking? As human beings, we're seeking that fulfillment. As human beings, we are trying to look for meaning. As human beings, we are looking to create a tribe where we all belong together, where we have our aspirations and dreams. So for me, the spiritual side comes from that when you help others, I'm telling you, some of it is very, very selfish on my part because it makes me feel good and it provides that fulfillment and gives meaning to my message. And to me, unless there is a meaning to my story, to my life, this is for me personally, I don't thrive. I don't get energized. And when that energy pops in, I'm high on life some days, especially some days when I've helped others and when I connect with people like you.
That's great. I remember your earliest childhood memory that you shared was running on the beach, and connecting the dots of your joy at that point in time and connecting it to seeing those children run down for the award that they received, right? It's how cool is that, right?
It sure is extremely cool. And think about it, all these kids, they know that, okay, we did not go this way, that so many times, okay, fine, we did not have the money, but you know what? We had our spirit and we showed our leadership. So it just brings home that point to them that there is more and more, that money is just an idea. It's about connecting with each other. It's about helping each other succeed and growing together, creating collective power, creating collective wisdom, learning from each other, growing and just building that joy and love around. And they learned that wonderful lesson. And not only that, but they experienced it. And when they did that, think about it. These are 30, 35 kids, and they're going to grow up and grow big and go in different directions. And they will take some part of it, I'm sure, and impacting other people. So think about the ripple effect, the dominoes effect that can happen. So that's why I always say that in each and every one of us, there's an influencer. It's just not about being an influencer with thousands of followers or anything like that. No, wherever you are at, as one person, you can make a difference, whether it's a smile for somebody else or whether it's just kind of giving somebody a helping hand. And that's my message now, Angel, is like changing the definition of influence and impact and inviting people in 2020 to unleash their potential and become an influencer in their own right. Define your definition of an influencer.
And go for it.
Yeah, something that's, for the greater good. You could even just go like one of the things that I really am a proponent of is kiva.org. It's a simple, like, if you want to buy a birthday gift for somebody, donate it to a charity of their choice. So think about it. You can be an influencer in so many different things. And there is ocean for you. You buy a bracelet and somebody picks out 1 pound of trash from the oceans. So things can be done, folks.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. Where's the best place that people that are listening can connect with you?
You can reach out to me on any of my social media. I'm on Facebook, Beyond Confidence page. And I also have for authors, especially Authors Marketing Circle, my Facebook group. You can connect with me on Instagram, Make Your Message a Movement. My Twitter handle is Coach Divya. And you can reach out to me through my website, which is www. D as in David, I, V as in Victor, Y, A, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, R, E, K as in Kevin, H as in Harry.com. And you can reach out to me at my email as well, contact@divyaparekh.com. And if you are a listener of this podcast, and if you share with me that you are coming from this podcast, I'll share a special gift for you that will help you build your goals throughout this year. Not only it's a PDF file that you can fill it out, but I'll also share the audio course with you folks.
That's wonderful.
And I can share links with you, Angel, if you like.
Yeah, of course. Again, it's contact Divya Parekh @gmail.com. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Divya, this has been such a great pleasure. Again, checking in, seeing that you're doing the thing that you set out to do, that you've not given up. It is inspirational and motivational. Thank you so much for the service you do to humanity. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yes, I would just like to share that thank you, Angel, because without you, people like us would not be able to get our message out. So thank you for what you're doing. And I would like to invite each and every one of you to just kind of peek into that inner potential of yours. You've got so much there hiding, folks. Just let it, even if it's a little bit out in 2020, because we are on the cusp of new decade. And if there's any way I can support you, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to serve you. Thank you.
Amazing audience again. Divya Parekh, a pleasure I treasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.